Hey, I'm Jesse. Let's have a devotion. So far in the book of Judges, things aren't going all that chaotically. The tribes of Judah and Simeon, they're kind of doing what they're supposed to do. Judah was supposed to lead the tribes. There's a weird incident with the forced amputation of a guy's thumbs and big toes so that he couldn't fight in battle or navigate very well. But other than that, they're sort of doing what they're supposed to do. And we're going to see some overlap here with the text of the book of Joshua. Check this out. Here is Judges chapter 1, verse 12. Caleb said, "Whoever attacks and captures Kiriath Sefer, I will give my daughter Achsah to him as a wife." So Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's youngest brother, captured it, and Caleb gave his daughter Achsah to him as his wife. All right. So, Othniel, evidently, like in the show Community, there's a guy who knows how to marry his cousin. All right, what do we do? It's Judges. All right, this was never prescribed. Othniel volunteered for this job. He knew who Caleb was. He knew Uncle Caleb. Uncle Caleb was he was the last surviving, actually, Exodus Israelite. And he was one of those who had gone with Joshua to spy out the land in the book of Numbers and came back with the report, God can give us this land. God could do this. And so for that reason, Caleb is given his own allocation of the promised land on the other side. When she arrived, she persuaded Othniel to ask her father for a field. As she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, "What do you want?" She answered him, "Give me a blessing. Since you have given me land in the Negev, give me springs also." So Caleb gave her both the upper and lower springs. Now, Othniel is going to be the first judge at some point. It kind of helps to have that association with Caleb. He's like the last remaining, like solid Israelite. He was Joshua's compatriot, and he's proven himself in battle here. He did what Caleb asked. And so, yeah, we actually do have some victories here. But as we continue even in tomorrow's devotion, you'll see that it's a little weird. It's kind of functional, but it's about to get weirder. And there's going to be eventually just this absolute abdication of what God told people to do. Now, take a close look at this if you're watching this on video in Judges 1, 12 through 15, including text from yesterday's devotion. Tell me if this looks familiar. Here's Joshua 15, verses 13 through 19. Okay, he gave Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the following portion among the descendants of Judah based on the Lord's instruction to Joshua. Kiriath sons of Anak, Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai, descendants of Anak. This, by the way, means that these guys were likely giants. These Anakites were huge. There's a genealogical connection here to like Goliath. There's a connection potentially even to descendants of the Nephilim. These were massive dudes. So Caleb, just imagine like this short Jewish dude shows up and like just slays a bunch of giants. And so, man, he's claiming his piece of the promised land. From there, he marched against the inhabitants of Debir, which used to be called Kiriath Sefer. And Caleb said, "Whoever attacks and captures Kiriath Sefer, I will give my daughter Achsah to him as a wife." So Othniel, son of Caleb's brother Kenaz, captured it. See, this is all the same text. This is a repetition of what came before. All right, or what comes after what we just read in the book of Judges. I just think this is interesting too, man. Like, his daughter like has her stuff together. It's kind of reminiscent of the stories of the daughters of Zelophehad in Numbers 27, who just asked for their father's allocation of the land. She has not even gotten off of her donkey yet, and then Caleb asks, "What do you want?" And she answers him, "Give me a blessing." Like, they seem to have a really blunt father-daughter relationship, but she's smart as a whip, and she knows how to ask for what she needs. So this land in the Negev was more dry and she needed water. All right, give me springs also. That's your most valuable resource in a desert climate. So she asks for what she needs, and then Caleb gives her both the upper and the lower springs. She is her father's daughter. Man, she sees what she needs and she goes for it. And in her case, she just had to ask her dad. And then Caleb gave it to her. That's an incredibly valuable asset to give to your daughter and now your son-in-law hyphen nephew, Othniel, who's also going to be your judge. But this is a direct repetition of the text of a portion of the text of Joshua in Joshua chapter 15. And you got to respect Caleb. All right. Enjoy this, because as we get deeper into Judges, you're going to see less and less sanity. Before we even finish the first chapter, we'll see some just absolute failure. But wow, here's one last glimpse, okay, of the sanity in the season under Joshua's leadership. Caleb's been around, since the Exodus. And he was one of those few who was unintimidated by the giants. Obviously, he's not scared of giants. He knew we could take these guys. Have you seen the grapes from the promised land? I mean, come on, it's a land flowing with milk and honey. God can give us this land from those giants. Caleb would prove that later on by himself going and campaigning and then just taking land from Anakites, massive giant guys. And now his legacy lives on. And his daughter knows exactly how to ask for what she needs. There's a godly effect in legacy. But as you'll see, they're only one generation away from being forgotten. This is the way of the world since the book of Judges. All right. The kids begin to forget what their parents learned. The grandkids completely cast aside the moral teachings, the beliefs, the sincere faith of their grandparents, and then they go right back toward that precipice and they call every step of it moral progress. But for now, we at least see one legacy from Caleb to his daughter where there is obedience to God and there's great faith. There's fearlessness and the ability to ask for exactly what you need. All right? Ask your father for what you need and don't hold back. All right? May your children inherit a legacy like this.